between these two teams. Crowd noise very high here. With me tonight, again, our special guest commentator, that is head coach John Curbo of the Mount Zion Eagles. Coach, welcome to Roy Richards Memorial Stadium again.
Thank you, Tom. Glad to be here as always. Looks like a good football game tonight. Good football weather and two good football teams.
And we have the flip of the coin coming up. And we're going to find out who is going to be doing the honors tonight as far as kicking off. Here come the Lions. This being a state championship game, they take a little longer for the formal presentation, but here we go. It'll be the Lions. They'll be receiving the ball to start the game, and Robert E. Lee will be kicking off. We'll be back with the starting lineups for the Central Lions in about 30 seconds. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Make it a 60, David. Make it a 60. Go to us, go to us. .1330 WPPI. And we seem to be having some kind of technical difficulty as far as We'll try to stay with you until we can get it corrected. The Lions 1st and 10 from the 20. Hand off to Walt Crowder. He dives up the middle, picks up maybe a yard against R.E. Lee coming out of the 5-0 out defense. Coach Curbo, a little more standard than they tried last week with a long pass play.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a tough game. You want to get started, want to hit inside and see what they got and see what you got. So I expect they'll probe each other the first couple of times.
And at R.E. Lee coming out of that offense. Once again, they have the inverted secondary. The Lions out of the eye. It's going to be 2nd and 9. They're going to try a timing pattern to Smith down the left side. He's got it at the 50-yard line. Call that about a 29, 30-yard pickup. Just to Smith down to the middle of the field, and the Lions were going to try to air it out to get things going.
There's so much for my probe, Tom. That was a good pass and good catch.
So anyway, now the Lions have a 1st and 10, and they're immediately into R.E. Lee territory. And they're going to have a 1st and 10 from the R.E. Lee 48-yard line. So here come the Lions now with Vince Smith split out wide to the left side. Walt Hudson split out wide to the right side. And it is Holt. He is handing off to Crowder. A little drop play, but he's thrown for a loss of about 3.
Tom, there was that inverted look you talked about earlier, that where the corners were playing a little back off and the safeties were up close. I think that's what they got beat on the first time, but that time it came in handy for them because it was a running play.
So anyway, the Lions now, after the big pickup on the pass play, lose a few, and they're going to have a 2nd and about 14 as they're back into their own territory now. They're going to have 2nd and 14 from the 49-yard line. They're on the near side of the field going from my left to right. Excuse our earlier technical difficulties. We've got them fixed. They're going to pass again, looking for Judson. Same play to the right side. Judson trips up over the feet of the defender over on the far side. I'm not sure what that's going to mean. Coach, how would you call that one?
It looked like incidental contact to me, but you never know what a referee will call. They both ran into each other, as they were running down the field.
Okay, Coach, so now we're going to see what that call is.
Well, what they're doing now, their cornerback playing back like that is taking Central's man along by himself. And those safeties being inverted are able to come up and help out on the run, but they're not able to help out on that. That corner did an excellent job. Their left corner did an excellent job that time on Walter. Their right corner over here got beat a minute ago on the same kind of pattern.
Okay, Coach, so they're going to call that one against the Lions when he ran up on the feet of the corner, and so they're going to bring it back, and that hurts. There they were. They on their second play of the game, they moved the ball about 30 yards down the field. Now they're going to have a 2nd, and it looks like about 25 for a first down, and they've got to make it all the way to the 37-yard line of the Rebels.
Yeah, well, to us old defensive secondary coaches, that always looks like incidental contact, because you figure they usually call it on the defensive back. That's one of the very few I've ever seen called on receivers.
Now they're on the far side of the field, and they're going to be going
inverted again.
3rd and about 25 from their own 35. Holt drops straight back, lets a long bomb go down the field. Vince is under it, and he takes it away from the defender. The defender reached up number 10 at the 30-yard line and had the ball. That was Jeffrey Smith. Vince Smith just took it right out of his hands. 1st and 10 for the Lions down at the 28-yard line of R.E. Lee.
That was a great athletic move by Smith. What happened was Smith had run down the field, and the corner this time had gotten real good position on his inside shoulder, turned his head, saw the ball. The corner went up and actually had the ball first, and Smith from behind him ripped the ball out of his hands. Great play. Great play.
So now the Lions 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Crowder up the middle, and he's across the 25, the 20. And Crowder just keeping that leg speed going over left tackle Chuck Connerly. And he gets a good chunky yardage. Let's call it about 8 yards for Central.
Tough yardage, the right way to describe it, too. Crowder got a lot of that on his own. Good run.
Tackle made by number 71 for R.E. Lee, Jeff Brannon. So now with it's going to be did they get are they going to call him a first down? They're going to measure it. It's very close. It looked to me like he only got about 8.
I know, my eyesight's not that good, Tom. It must be pretty close. It's hard to see from this angle. If he got 10, he got about 8 of it on his own.
So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. They're going to bring it out. They're just inches shy. Once again, we're very thankful we seem to have gotten our technical problems worked out. And we're back in the swing of things. We'll have those Central starting lineups any minute now.
I believe that's 2nd down in 3 inches, Tom.
That's what it looked like, Coach. Very, very short. And I imagine we'll just see Crowder going up the middle unless they figure, well, we'll lull them to sleep and send somebody into the end zone.
Well, sometimes you want to waste one here because you know you're going to get it on 3rd down running. So sometimes you want to throw it here on 2nd like this.
Gamble and Crowder in the backfield. Mark Holt, the quarterback. It's Smith to the left. They like to run that little timing play, and that's what they're going to do. Smith gets the ball in the end zone. Lions up by a score of 6-0. He went right by the defender that he took the ball away from earlier for R.E. Lee. That was number 10, Jeffrey Smith. This time he just ran down the field, then cut inside and behind the defender, pulled the ball in, 6-point Central.
Yeah, he made a little fake to the outside right before he cut inside. what he's got right now, Smith is whipping this boy number 10 over here. Their right cornerback, Smith, is whipping him like a dog anytime he wants to. And that time, the time before he beat him on athletic moves, this time he whipped him on a fake.
Mark Holt for the PAT. It is up. It is good. The Lions take a 7-0 lead with 9:54 to go. And we're going to take this 30-second timeout on the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
They're trying to play man-to-man defense to those corners. That's pretty rough.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sure they're going to tell me they're going to try. They figured R.Lee is trying to take Smith and Dutson man-to-man, and they want that so bad.
Well, they got to it with the safeties pulled up like they've got them. You know, they've not got to take a man. You know what I'm saying? They got nobody else.
Yeah.
I guess they're saying that bringing the safeties up, they're going to stop the running game.
Back at Roy Richards Memorial Stadium, you can hear the crowd. These Lions are fired up. They've just taken a 7-0 lead. A little over 2 minutes gone in the quarter, and Mark Holt drills the kickoff through the end zone. And so it's going to be a touchback, first and 10 for the Rebels from their own 20-yard line. Now we're going to watch this split back veer in action. On defense for the Lions tonight, we're going to have Clay Chambers at left end, Maurice Gamble at right end. Left guard will be Kevin Williams. Right guard, Steve Whitlock. Linebacker, Scott Boykin in the middle. Vic Brown and Chris Dyer, the other linebackers. Ramon Swint, Vince Smith, Walt Hudson, and Troy Rowe in the secondary. Right away, Daniels hands off to number 37 for R.E. Lee, and that is Tim Perry, who plunges ahead for a first down around the left side. And he came around the left side, and he gets a first down right across the 30.
What that was, Tom, that's just the dive part of the veer. You know, if they're running a straight veer, which is what you all, said that you figured they were going to do, they run that dive back and they make you respect him. That time he popped through inside. When they do that, they can get some yardage.
Barry's rushed for 1,200 yards this season. His counterpart, Marshall, for almost 1,900 yards. And this time they hand it to Marshall. And he picks up maybe to the 35-yard line. Might have been a gain of 2. That time the Lions got excellent penetration into the backfield of R.E. Lee.
All right, and they did not run a veer play that time. They put the left halfback behind the quarterback and handed him the football following the right halfback through the hole, so it was like a I-formation power play.
Here they come again, and once again it's Marshall and Perry in the backfield. Daniel, the quarterback, he's going to throw over to his left side. His receiver gets across and makes first down yardage up to about the 40-yard line. Not quite sure who the receiver was. That looks like it was number 21, Gary Thornton, and that is their favorite receiver. He's got most of their receptions for them this season.
A little hitch pass. The quarterback stood up and looked at him. He goes down about 8 or 9 yards, turns around and catches the ball, then made 2 or 3 yards on his own.
So anyway, here comes R.E. Lee. They've got a little drive going. First and 10 now from their own 45-yard line. 2 men split out wide to the left side. Handoff is to Marshall, I believe. And he is brought down after gaining about 4 up to the 50-yard line. That's 28, Randy Marshall. Marshall's got 20 touchdowns this year and about 1,500 yards. I think I said 1,900 earlier, but he's got 1,500 yards in the season. Again, not a veer play. The quarterback countered his body totally around 360 degrees and handed off to a man diving. That's like that little play that East Hall ran so successfully. Quarterback 24, Doug Stanley. And Stanley is sacked before he can hand it off. I did say his name was Daniel. It's Doug Stanley. He's sacked before he can get it anywhere. And so they lose about a yard on the play. As what's more, good penetration by the Lions. Scott Boykin in there to bring him down. Excellent penetration. Central must be running a little, some kind of stunt on the inside. They're either flying or, slanting right, slanting left with the linebacker stepping or something like that. And that's what you got to do sometimes to stop the veer, because they're going to hand off very quickly to that first man. Lions up 7-0 with 7:41 left to go in the first quarter. And Stanley coming around the right side, makes the pitch out to Perry. He is sacked. He's brought down for a loss of about 3 yards. That was Tim Perry brought down over there. And tackle looks like it was made by Keith Williams. Dunson. Walt Dudson, number 11 was the man in on a tackle. Keith Williams came up to make the assist after. So they go to a 4th down situation now. It's going to be 4th and 10 for the Rebels from their own 46-yard line. 7:05 left to go in the first quarter. This is Tom Cooper along with John Curbo, head coach of the Mount Zion Eagles.
That was a good play by Dunson then. Take that pitch, man.
Vince Smith to receive the punt. It's going to come down short at about the 31-yard line. Ball rolling dead now at the Lions 26. That's where the Lions will take up possession. We'll take a 30-second timeout on the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Back at Roy Richards Memorial Stadium, they hand off to Crowder on first down. He cuts up in the inside, and he picks up about a yard. So we're looking at 2nd and 9 now.
That was a nice little hole. Now, one of those linemen got an arm out. I think number 61 was on the ground, but got his arm out and tripped him up. Nice blocking on the play. He just happened to, one man made a good play on it for them.
2nd and 9, the ball just across the 27-yard line, going from my right to left. We're going to have Dunson out to the left side. Harvey Bonner in the game now, split out wide to the right side. Once again, Gamble and Crowder in the backfield. 5:49 left to go in the quarter. Holt is rolling around to his left side, and he's looking for Dunson short at the 40-yard line. Ball bounces off the turf, and he just wasn't able to come back to it. Coverage over there by number 31 for R.E. Lee. That was Rodney Horveld.
Right, what they're doing now, Tom, see, they're still, they look inverted when they start, but see number 10 flying over here to the right corner. He's the boy that got beat over here by Smith 2 times before. Of course, this time Walter's out here at the flanker. Number 31's a strong safety, and he has come out here to double, and they must have dropped that end off to take the tight end short because they definitely had double coverage out here.
Here come the Lions in 3rd and 9. It's Holt throwing to the right side. Dunson trying to reach up to the ball. He was in there with Smith, the coverage. They ran into each other. I guess that's another case of incidental contact down at about the 40 cut.
Oh, yeah, that's real good incidental contact there. That's what you always teach a defensive back to do, you know. After all, pass interference is only a 15-yard penalty.
So now the Lions will have to punt for the first time. Of course, in their first drive, they took it all the way in for a score. And that's why they're leading 7-0 with 5:37 left to go in the first quarter. And it'll be Walt Crowder doing the punting, standing at his own 15-yard line. Thornton standing back at the 44, and then he gets off a boomer. Chases Thornton all the way back to the 30 where he drops the ball. Good coverage by the Lions. No, now he's free across the 40. And he's brought down by Walt Dunson at the 45. They should have had him back there at about the 33-yard line.
He made a real nice move to step out of that. The boy's got some speed. You know, Tom, on this last possession of Central's, though, number 10, I thought he was staying at the right corner, but at that very last play, he flipped over and played the left corner. So, you know, maybe they're playing him wide side. Maybe that means he's their best. He's gotten beat twice, I know already.
Well, Coach, the Lions have been double covering Thornton over here on the right side, so they'll probably try the weak side. And they tried straight up the middle, and that is, I believe, Marshall bringing it straight up. And he picks up about, we'll call it 4 yards for them to start 2nd down.
Right. You see the offside back come across. Now, this is the start of your typical Vera option. He runs a little dive to that man, and it's a call dive. He's not reading it because he's handed it off too quick to read. But watch him in a minute. He's going to fake that, and the quarterback and this other man will be out here in the alley.
So the quarterback, Stanley, takes a look. He's going to throw. Rolling to his right side. He's got Thornton short. He finally jumps it off, but Thornton was out of bounds, it looked like, from this angle. And they call it no catch because he was out of bounds over on the right side. As we said, Thornton made the short turn at about the Lion 38. But the ball just thrown a little too far to the sideline.
Looked like that time Central was playing pass defense, too. You know, you got to give up something. You can either play 6 or 7 coming and 4 back, or you can play 3 or 4 coming and about 7 back. And it looked like to me that time Central only had 3 or 4 coming, you know, just their down linemen. So Robert E. Lee did not have any pressure that time. We'll see what happens later when they have pressure.
Randy Marshall in the backfield, as he's going to throw again, dropping straight back, a lot of pressure, a little screen pass, in and out of the hands of, I believe it's number 39. I can't get it. It is 39. We don't have him on our roster. But anyway, he threw it too high on a little dump pass up the middle. Lions put a lot of pressure on, and so they go nowhere, and they're going to have to kick the ball away.
Tom, that's the second worst play in football right there. That's a center screen. He tried to throw a screen right in the middle of the field. Central linebacker almost ended up with it.
So they're going to kick away. Vince Smith will be standing at his own 22-yard line. 4:25 left to go in the quarter. Here's the kick. Smith is going to go ahead and take it at the 22, trying to come to the right side. Breaks away for one man, but dropped it about the 15. Now breaks away before he was hit and gets up to the 22. And that's where the Lions will set up. We're going to take a 30-second break. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
Great effort. That's good.
Who is?
That's what I just told him. What I just told you, they're going to dive that guy, and then they're going to run the option out here to where they have those two twins.
I hope we don't get a touchdown here. We still got this spot going. This is WPPI Carrollton at Roy Richards Memorial Stadium. Tom Cooper with head coach John Kerber of the Mount Zion Eagles, where the Lions push Crowder over to the left side, pick up about 2. They're going to have a 2nd and 8. Ball just shy of the 20. It's on the 24-yard line. 3:28 left to go in the quarter.
Real tough.
They're on the near side of the field with Smith to the left. It looks like Bonner over to the right side. Holt pitches it to Crowder coming around the right side. He finds a little room, then gets arm tackled around the head and dropped right at the 25-yard line.
Excuse me, Tom, what I was going to say, real tough rushing defense when they, as you mentioned, and they have stayed with those safeties inverted all the time except for that one time they went into double coverage. And you figure what you're talking about is you got 9 men within about 6 yards of the football. And so, of course, that's tough to run against.
The Lions got a 3rd and very long 5 to go with the ball resting on their own 31-yard line. Smith to the left. And Holt's going to pass. He's looking to his left side for Smith. Smith open at the 40, in and out of his hands. Good coverage down there for Ari Lee by number 15. That is John Davis.
Yeah, they had double again, Tom, over here. They had 1 man over, 1 man under, and the under man made a good effort.
Thornton, number 21, will be deep to receive the punt. Kicking will be Walt Crowder. He'll be standing back at about his own 10-yard line. Now on every punt by Central, the Rebels are getting a little closer, but they just haven't been able to take advantage of that. 2:39 left to go in this quarter.
Be interesting to see what this boy does with it.
Here's Crowder's punt. He gets off a line drive. It's taken by Thornton at the 39 of Ari Lee. Coming across the 50. And he is brought down after being hit about 5 times at about the 42-yard line. Torres Swint hit him. Finally, it was Vince Smith and Maurice Scott Boykin who rode him down. Now, Coach, we might see the option out of Ari Lee here. They do run the option.
Yeah, I said before what they were doing is diving. But dive that back, and it's got to be called. It can't be a read as fast as they're diving it. They're gonna dive him and then run the option on out here with the quarterback and the offside back.
Daniel's going to throw, going to his left side. Thornton long, being covered by Vince Smith, who takes it out of his hands and knocks it away. And a good play by Vince Smith over on the far side of the field to go up and poke it out of Thornton's hands. He gives away at least 6-7 inches in height.
That's an excellent play by there. Smith got up. Smith right now, Smith been the difference in this football game. He's made 2 great athletic plays over on this side of the field to take Central in. And there he just made one that had he not made that, Ari Lee would be sitting on the 8-yard line, Tom. Smith's doing a great job.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Ari Lee with Thornton coming over to the right side. Marshall's the right halfback, Perry the left halfback. And they're on the 42-yard line. This time Daniel keeps it. He's across the 35, the 30, room to run across the 20. Pushed out of bounds by Vince Smith on his side of the field. And they're going to have a 1st and 10 from the Lions' 10-yard line.
That was the option to the open side over here, and what he did, he just faked. He's been running dive, and he faked the dive and then stepped himself out just enough. Walter flew out there with a pitch man, which he's got to do, and whoever Central's inside man here was to contain the quarterback, just could not contain him.
So now they split out 2 men wide to the left side. They've got a 1st and 10 from the 10.5-yard line. Daniel hands it off to Perry, who bursts ahead for maybe 4 yards. He gets up close to the 6-yard line. Tackle made by Chris Dyer and Clay Chambers.
Okay, now what he did on that play right there, not the play that he busted it, but that play right there, he ran the outside veer. You got the inside veer and the outside veer. Inside veer, the man's diving off the guard's butt. Outside veer, he's diving off the tackle's butt. That time it was off the tackle.
Okay, Coach, watch for the outside veer here. Oh, no, Daniel runs into his running back as he hands it off to, I believe he handed it off to Perry, and they really only pick up about a yard on that one as there's a little collision on the play.
I believe that was a broken play. See, they've been running the inside veer, and then he comes and calls the outside veer one play. Okay, it worked. But this time he calls another play, and, you know, sometimes it confuses your backs when you're going back, because I've done the same thing, going back from one outside veer back to inside veer. Somebody's going to get confused and go the wrong way, and that's what happened right there.
A minute 7.
The quarterback was running the outside veer. The dive back was running the inside veer.
A minute 7 left to go in this quarter. The Lions take a timeout and will take a 30-second timeout. The Lions up by a score of 7-0. Ari Lee's got the ball. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But that is what happened. The quarterback called the outside veer again, and the tail on the dive back ran the inside.
That's why I said watch for the outside. Back at Roy Richards Memorial Stadium, minute 7 left to go. And they've got a situation where they've got a 3rd and 5, the Rebels do. Thornton split out wide to the left side. Marshall, the right halfback, Perry, the left, to hand it. No, it's Daniel on the keeper coming around the left side. He gets in for a score.
That's a regular, just an inside veer option. He fakes it. He fakes the dive, and then he runs the option with he and that pitch back. And that time, you remember what we talked about earlier? If somebody does not, if they come in too much, take the dive back, somebody's got to take him. If they come in too much on him, then the quarterback's out there by himself. So Central's going to have to adjust and have somebody take that quarterback.
Point after attempt coming up from Ari Lee. The Lions would sure like to get this one down, but it is up and it's good. We're all tied up with a minute left to go in the first quarter. 7-7 between the Lions and the Rebels. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Roy Richards Memorial Stadium. Ari Lee's going to kick off deep to receive. Crowder, Rowe, and Smith. And Smith takes it at the 12, across the 20, the 25, tangled up and dropped finally at about the 27-yard line. The Lions have 54 seconds to get something going in this quarter. Of course, we're still only in the first quarter.
Good football game. Good football game. Two tough teams.
Tied up 7-7. And the Lions will be operating 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line.
Let's see if they come back out inverted this time, Tom, like they were before.
Here come the Lions, 1st and 10 from the 27. Holt going to throw right away. Looking down the right side for Dunson, coming to the middle of the field. And actually, the defender had a better position on it, but it was even too high for him at the 41.
Some kind of flag down there, Tom. I don't know what it is, because it's not near anybody.
Thrown way away from the line of scrimmage, back at about the 44-yard line of the Lions. And it looks like it's going to be against the Lions. We'll see what the call is here in just a second.
Tom, what they did, they came out and looked inverted that time, and yet the ball was snapped. The guys on the inside, they went ahead and took a normal coverage, so they played in 4 deep, and which is, of course, good against a pass and play. So what they're going to do, obviously, is they're going to look inverted, and when they play inverted, they're tougher against the run. When they drop back, they got double inside out or under over, and plus got real good. As long as you got 4 deep, you got real good coverage. Central may want to think about running something underneath them after a while. I expect it might.
So the Lions take the call. Illegal man downfield. They lose it down. They're going to have a 2nd and about 15. The ball resting back now at the 22-yard line. Smith to the left, Dunson to the right side. They're in the center of the field from my right to left. It's Crowder trying to come around the left side. He breaks free, but he can't turn the corner, and he's brought down at the 22-yard line. Tackle made for Robert E. Lee by number 17. That is Anthony Lockhart.
17 been doing a real good job. He's been the underneath man 2 or 3 times when they've sprinted back. He's, whatever he is, strong safety or free safety, he's one of the men who's playing inside and walked up, but then sometimes he goes back and plays pass, and he's done a very good job on tackling.
That's the end of the first quarter. Scores tied up 7-7 between the Rebels and Lions. We'll take this 30-second timeout on the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Back with second quarter action, the Central Lions have the ball with a 3rd and 15 from about the 22-yard line. This time they're going to run twins to the right side with Smith on the outside, Dunson on the inside, and Holt's going to throw over to the right side. Now he's got a lot of pressure. He's sacked for a loss of about 6. And that was number 63 for R.E. Lee, bringing him down. That's Scott Etheridge, a defensive end. He gets in there and brings Holt down. Now it's going to be 4th and about 30.
A lot of pressure that time. They decided to gamble, put some more people in like we were talking about a while ago. You got to do one or the other, and that time Robert E. Lee took the right gamble.
So now it's going to be Walt Crowder kicking out of his own end zone. Thornton is going to be standing at his own, right at the 50-yard line. So the Rebels should get good field position out of this. Not much pressure on the kicker. Crowder gets off a short kick, takes a Lions bounce, goes across the 50, keeps rolling, and out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. And that's where R.E. Lee will set up shop on their own 42.
That was a nice roll on that one, Tom. That's the kind you like to see.
The Lions needed that roll because they were giving up awfully good field position to R.E. Lee. And R.E. Lee still isn't starting out too badly, as they're going to have a 1st and 10 from their own 42.
No, you can't complain if you get the ball on your own 40. This is good field position for them.
Split out to the right side is Thornton and Woodard. And the handoff is to Perry, who gets brought down after a gain of about 3, just shy of the 45-yard line. As he tried to go around on the right side, tackle made in there by Kevin Williams and Maurice Gamble.
Yeah, what he did, he faked the ball to the dive back and then gave it to the left halfback, the guy who was a pitchback, only he handed it to him this time, running what we would call a blast track, but there's nobody in front of him to block. It's not like blast, there's no fullback to block for you. Strange little play.
Thornton to the right side, Davis to the right side, and this time it's Marshall trying to come around the left side, dragged down by Scott Boykin after no gain at the 45-yard line. He got him by the shoulder pad and was just able to drag him down by arm strength alone.
Boykin definitely must have strength in those arms. He grabbed the boy and made a tackle with his arms, buddy. I'm talking about that boy weighs about 185 pounds, and Boykin tackled him with one arm. Jerked him down.
Woodward's going to split out to the right side with Thornton. Marshall and Perry in the backfield. Stanley is the quarterback. 3rd and 7 for the 45. Stanley trying to throw, rolling out. Throws it short for Thornton. He gets it at the 42 of the Lions. First down as he's brought down at about the 39-yard line. Tackle made over there for the Lions by Walt Dunson. He had right on his back Steve Whitlock chasing him, but Stanley was able to get it away. So a big first down for R.E. Lee with 9:55 left to go in this quarter, as they're going to be down deep into Lions territory. 1st and 10 from the Lion 38.
Whitlock put some real nice pressure on him, and their boy made a great athletic play to hold on to that ball. Did you see it pop out of his hands, and then he grabbed it out of the air?
Far side of the field from my right to left. Stanley going to throw again, looking for Thornton. A timing pattern down into the end zone. Coverage by Smith. And they break it up, I think, down there in the end zone, unless somebody came up with it. No, they knocked it away. 3 sets of good hands going up for that ball, but nobody comes down with it, so it's going to be 2nd and and 10 as the Rebels decide to waste one there and try to pick up a quick score.
That's good defense right there. You know, if you're 40 yards down the field like that, the guy that taught me pass defense, he said, son, all you want to do is play one more defensive play. So, you know, that could have been a 40-yard touchdown for R.E. Lee, but instead it's one more defensive play for Central.
Thornton goes out. They bring in another receiver this time. That is going to be number 14, John Spraggins. 2nd and 10, Stanley on the option. He keeps it. He gets across the 35, the 30, and he's very close to a first down. I think, no, he did get a first down as he gets down to about the 26-yard line. He just had trailing behind him, Marshall. And he faked the pitch a couple of times and cut it up inside himself, Coach.
That is excellent football right there, buddy, by that guy. What's his name? 24.
That's Stanley, Coach.
Yeah, he made the quick little fake, and Central's man took him. And so he took him, and he should have gone ahead and made the tackle. And the boys put the ball out like that, and juked him just enough that then he stepped on outside and made the play.
Woodard and Davis split out wide to the right side. Stanley almost gets dropped as he keeps it on the inside option and breaks across the 35 down to about the 33-yard line. Stanley just tucked it and went right around his right tackle's shoulder. And he's dropped after a gain of about 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7 from the 23-yard line for R.E. Lee from the Lions 23.
Yeah, you got to have an athletic quarterback to run the option. That's what these guys are doing well.
Woodard and Thornton split out wide to the right side. And Stanley fumbles the ball on the handoff, on the snap, and he recovered it, but they lose that down. Now they're going to have 3rd and a long 7 to try to pick up a first down.
That was, again, going to be option right. You see where those guys were going. Everybody else was running the option.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Coming in is 39. We don't have who he is. Looks like he's got a new jersey on anyway. But he's coming in for Perry, so it'll be Marshall and 39. We'll call him Mr. Smith in the backfield. Daniel's still the quarterback. Ball just across the 25. Daniel going to throw. Rolling goes right side. Pressure by Maurice Gamble, who brings him down as he dumps it off. And it's in and out of the hands of Thornton down at about the 14-yard line. But Maurice Gamble was riding his back into the ground as he tried to let it go. And he really couldn't get the ball off with any force.
Good pressure. The pressure is what made him throw the pass that was not quite good enough to get to his receiver that time. Excellent pressure by Gamble.
So it'll be 4th and about 7 for R.E. Lee. We'll call it 4th and 8. And taking a look at their special teams, Troy Woodard, their kicker, has about a 40-yard range.
Too far.
But they're not going to go for it. They put Thornton and Woodard on the right side. Perry and Marshall in the backfield. Daniel's going to throw, and he's looking over to the left side. It's number 29 brought down at the 15-yard line. Or number 39, Mr. Smith, as we're calling him, but not before he breaks down to about the 14 for a first down for R.E. Lee. And he's brought down by Chris Dyer and Scott Boykin. So R.E. Lee has held the ball a long time in his possession, and they've moved it down deeper into Lions territory with a 1st and 10 from the 14 with 7:29 left to go in the second quarter. All tied up, 7-7.
That's the tight end just slipping out here. There wasn't really a wide side of the field, so, you know, he slipped out here by himself and made a good play.
Woodard and Thornton again to the right side. This time Daniel breaks free, keeps it again, and slips down after picking up about 1 down to about the 13-yard line.
See number 37 out there by himself. In a minute, if that quarterback decides to run on out there about 2 more steps and pitch it to number 37, somebody, probably Walter, is going to have to be out there on him. Usually the strong safety is the man that has the pitch back like that.
37 is Tim Perry. 28 is Randy Marshall. And Daniel pitches it to number 39 coming around the right side. He's dropped for a loss of about 2 yards. Dropped for a loss of about 2 yards. And it was Walt Johnson on the tackle with some help over there from Vic Brown.
Right. No, that's the play I was talking about. He, you know, they saw it was open before. Walter been playing pass defense, but that time he must have seen the movement, and he sprinted out there and made an excellent play to stop that option.
Timeout called by R.E. Lee. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. Score tied 7-7. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. saying a timeout?
2 minutes. They're all 2 minutes.
Oh, it's just automatically?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's time. Referee runs a 2-minute spot. It's somewhere up here, isn't it? So we're all bumming your cigarettes, we're bumming your lighter too. I even smoke one, I get nervous. I want to smoke another one. Hell, I hadn't smoked cigarettes since 1969. Here I am smoking.
Get you a chew here, Coach.
I smoke a cigar and pipe. That's all I do now.
Don't throw it into the end zone. And Ari Lee tries to pass the ball. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. He throws a duck and it's intercepted at about the 10-yard line by Scott Boykin. 3 Lions down there. Why he threw the ball, I don't know. He had pressure. All his receivers were covered in the end zone, and he just threw a duck, and there was nobody but Lions to pick it off.
Yeah, what he did, Tom, I don't know why he threw it either, because Central was playing back, but number 30 made a great rush from the backside, and just as he let the ball go, somebody who I could not see hit him from the front, number 30 hit him from the back, and that's what made it a duck. It was an excellent defensive play.
1st and 10 for the Lions now, but deep in their own territory from about the 8-yard line. Holt just hands it off to Crowder up the middle. He bursts across the 10. Not a bad little rush on the blast up the middle. And a flag dropped. A late flag dropped. Ed Hamby made the tackle. We'll see what the preliminary call is, but it's really going to be against Ari Lee. Face mask against Ari Lee. That should be good enough for a first down for the Lions. And that, Coach, you got to like that if you're a Lions fan, because that gets your team out of that hole they were in.
That helps them out a lot. You know, great defensive rush a minute ago to make the boy, as I said, get rid of that bad pass. They say you can always tell the secondary coach, because he's always the one that says, you know, the best pass defense is a great rush. Have that quarterback on his back.
So 1st and 10 now for the Lions, and they're all the way out to their own 27-yard line after the penalty. Dunson inside on the right side. It's a flanker reverse with Dunson coming around the left. He's got room. He's across the 30, the 40, and he finally gets dragged down at about the 37-yard line by Ari Lee on the far side of the field, but not before he picks up a huge chunk of yardage and gets it down to about the 48-yard line when they finally stop him. And the Lions are on the move now. Anytime you see Dunson inside, it's usually that little flanker reverse.
Yeah, that's a good-looking play right there. Central guys made a great play out of it, because the Robert E. Lee boy on the far side was at home. You know, he did not. You know, he stayed at home. He did his job, but Dunson made a good run on it, and some nice blocking in front of him.
So now the Lions with the 1st and 10 from 48-yard line. Holt handing it off to Crowder straight up the middle. He doesn't get very far. He's brought down after a gain of about 2 as Ari Lee closes up the middle this time. Now, Ari Lee likes to get you to run to the outside. They feel they've got the speed to stop you. And the Lions' philosophy basically tonight with Crowder has been, well, we're going to take it to you on the inside, whether you want us to go to the outside or not.
Of course, it hadn't worked. Crowder hadn't been able to bust something inside yet. The passing's really what's, you know, Central's done a great job of throwing the football tonight.
And this time they put 2 receivers on the right side with Smith on the outside, Dunson on the inside, but it's Crowder trying to come around the right side. Breaks 1 tackle across the 45. He picks up about 5 yards down to about the R.E. Lee 45-yard line.
That's great individual effort on Crowder's part right there, because, buddy, the hole was closed. There was no hole. He spun outside and came out here and ran something on his own.
Somebody got some hands on his ankles, and he was able to break free. And they're just shy of the 45, so they've got a 3rd and about 3 to go at the R.E. Lee 46-yard line. Going from my left to right, 4:06 left to go in this first half of play. It'll be Dunson to the right side, Smith to the right side also. Ball's in the center of the field. Holt takes a look. 3rd and about 3. Crowder across the middle, across the 40, across the 30, down to about the 26-yard line. As Crowder, with his strength, is just able to burst the ball straight through. Tackle is made by Tony Lockhart, but he had to ride Crowder for about 8 yards.
Great run, Crowder. That time he got 2 good blocks. That's the first time tonight that Central has actually executed in the middle of that line, run that power play like they want to. That time, excellent blocks in front of him, and Crowder made an excellent run.
1st and 10 for the Lions from the 26-yard line of Ari Lee, and it's Crowder who just kind of hits the hole, but hits traffic and is brought down by number 63. And he comes down after a gain of about 3 yards. Number 63 for Ari Lee is Etheridge.
Crowder's tough, buddy.
He just didn't have much room there, Coach.
Yeah, Ari Lee, well, except for that one play, the play before, he hadn't had any room because Ari Lee is playing very tough inside, and having those extra men walked up on the outside of their inside set has made them extremely tough.
On the near side of the field with Bonner and Smith to the right side. Holt hands it off to Crowder across the 20, across the 15, and he's brought down at about the 14-yard line. Tackle made by number 10. That's Davis for Ari Lee.
Good block and an excellent read of his block by Crowder that time to read that block and step outside.
First down for the Lions as the ball's down at about the 13-yard line of Ari Lee, and the Lions have a drive going. And with only 2:38 left to go, I'm sure they'd love to pick up a score here and go into the locker room with a lead.
They got a great opportunity to right here.
Field goal range also. Gamble and Crowder in the backfield, near side of the field. Crowder around the right side, across the 10 to 5, and in for a score. Crowder with 2:20 left to go, turned on the speed when he got through the line. Huge hole opened up by the Central line.
Beautiful block on the right side. The center and the right offensive guard drilling people, and then, of course, the fullback coming in making his block, too. Excellent, excellent blocking. The linebackers got to fill that hole on the defense. So far tonight, Robert Lee had been doing it up to about 4 or 5 plays ago. The last 4 or 5 plays, Central's been blowing them out.
And Mark Holt for the point after attempt. It is no good, so the Lions are only up by 13-7 with 2:20 left to go in this first half. We'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
Block right there, bud.
That was Phillips and Boykin.
Excellent. I wonder if they stunned it or something too with that line. I mean, there was no linebacker anywhere. There was nobody in the middle. Oh. That's what they did. They stunned just didn't get Crowder that touchdown. That's what they
13:30 WPPI with 2:20 left to go in this first half. The Lions have gone up by a score of 13-7 against a very tough Rebels squad. The Lions will be kicking off. Mark Holt missing the extra point. Deep to receive for the Rebels, standing at about his own 10-yard line is Marshall. Across the 15, the 20, brought down at about the 24-yard line, tripped up first for the Lions by number 28. That was Melvin Brown, and then he fell forward and picked up a few extra yards. But they'll have a 1st and 10 from right about the 35-yard line, Coach.
That's tough running right there. Good return and good coverage. You know, it's Robert Lee's hitting good licks, and Central also. That's some good football playing out there right now.
Coach, we found out who 39 was. It's Hurley Wells. Maybe he forgot his jersey or whatever, but he's supposed to be number 48. This time they run a receiver to the left. That's Thornton, and one split out to the right side. And Daniel's going to throw now. His little quarterback delay. And he tried to bring it back up the middle, and he might have gotten a yard. And a good defense by the Lions to stay at home and not be fooled.
Number 52 on the lines. Number 52 did an excellent job of, he came across the line and then saw what was happening and fell on back to the inside and made that tackle.
That's Clay Chambers for the Lions. He's been having a good season as they Rebels only pick up about a yard. They're going from my right to left. They've got a 2nd and 9 now from their own 26-yard line. 1:27 left to go in a half. 2 receivers to the right side this time. The Lions switch around, and this time it is Marshall diving ahead for about 8 yards. He's very close to a first down as he gets it up to about the 34-yard line.
A good run that time on the veer option.
Judson and Dyer make the stop.
Some Central back was changing places. I don't know if he was exactly where he wanted to be. You saw him switching a little bit right before the play.
Okay, Daniel, he was going to try the option again and loses the ball, and Lions recover. The Lions recover at the 34-yard line of Ari Lee. Daniel was trying to keep it coming around the right side, and it got knocked out, or he dropped it. And the Lions have 50 seconds to try to get something else on the board.
I wonder if maybe he was trying to hand the football off because, you know, I think he hit his dive back in the hip. And that's the only thing about the veer option. If a quarterback doesn't get all the way out there very quickly, he's not going to be able to make the handoff, so he needs to keep it himself. He may have been trying to hand that football off to that dive back, and the dive back been through there too fast for him.
The Lions take a timeout, and we're going to take a 60-second timeout. It's tied up. Well, not tied up. The Lions are ahead 13-7, and they've got the ball at about the 34-yard line of R.E. Lee. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout on the Voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Okay, David, during halftime, right after I take the, right after the half ends.
Good idea.
And that first break, just try to pack in about 4 spots. You probably only got 2 on the log. Try to pack in about 4. Come to us. I'll try to hurry it up, and we'll try to pack as many spots into halftime as possible.
You seen what they done when they tried to run that center screen, Robert Lee?
So the Lions are through with their timeout. 46 seconds left to go in this first quarter. And the Lions have a 1st and 10 from the R.E. Lee 34. They can get it in field goal range. They've got a good booter in Mark Holt. Dunson to the right, Smith to the left. Holt's rolling to his left side. He's going to throw. He's got a man open in the middle, and that is Maurice Gamble, who gets the ball knocked out of his hands. It might have been recovered by Central at the goal line, but we do have a flag thrown back here at about the 35-yard line. Gamble got the ball, and it was knocked out of his hands. It was recovered by, I believe, Dunson at about the 1-yard line, but we'll have to see what this penalty is going to be back here in the backfield. It must be against the Lions because Coach Birchfield is not happy. He's out in the field.
Recovered by somebody in a red shirt down there. I couldn't tell who it was.
They call holding against the Lions, and that's too bad. The Lions got a break there.
That was a very fortunate play for Central that time. Of course, it didn't turn out fortunate, but the football playing part of it was.
Well, one ref indicated hold, and we saw another indication of a possible clip. So we'll have to see.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I couldn't tell.
So we're going to say it's holding. It's going to be 1st and 20 to go for the Lions with the ball all the way back at the 44 now.
That was a neat little pattern. They rolled that fullback around this way and sprinted himself the other way.
So Holt's dropping straight back and trying to get the ball away. A lot of pressure. He is sacked back at his own 40-yard line for a further loss of about 15, 16 yards. And he just didn't have time. They're going to take a timeout with 6 seconds left to go. They don't stop the clock. I saw him indicate timeout, and they did not stop the clock at about 7 seconds. It's rolled down to 2. They'll probably have to put some time back on.
Yeah, well, you know, the referee, he'll keep the official time anyway.
So a timeout has been called by the Lions. And we'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to the Voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
Should be 6 seconds.
Anywhere like this. Yeah, but then he said your name. I know. They all do. I heard it. 1330 WPPI. They're trying to bring the clock back up to about, I believe they're going to have to bring it up to about 6 seconds.
Yeah, he lost 6 seconds. He was 2 seconds now. He adds it back and it makes 8 seconds. That's what he should have.
One of the refs got onto the headsets of the Lions and sent the word up to bring some seconds. Well, actually, they're going to bring it up to 8 now. Let's see if they bring it back a couple more.
No, he had to add 6. See, he took it down to 2, and he had to add 6 to put it up to 8.
2nd and about 50 for the Lions from their own 40-yard line. Little flare pass. No, it's going to be counted as a fumble because he threw it behind to Dunson, and it bounces off the ground. They call it a fumble because while the ball was thrown in the air, it was not thrown forward of the line. It was thrown behind or backward a little bit, or at an angle back. The ball bunches up. That's called a fumble. And time runs out in half anyway, so it doesn't do any damage.
It was a lateral. It was a lateral, and so it goes as a fumble.
Groom, you're up by 6. And where do you think they need to get better in this half?
Well, if I had this bunch of Central athletes, I'd say, son, I'm glad to see all you athletes out there. I've never seen this many athletes in one place in one of my dressing rooms. But seriously, if I were Birchfield, I'd say you're doing a good job. You're working hard. You got to keep it up. You got to keep it up. Can't let up. This is a tough football game. Robert E. Lee is tough. Central is tough. Everybody's got to keep on doing your job. Central been doing a real good job so far. Got to keep on doing your job. Don't give up the big play and fight tough. And, you know, that's about all you can say at this point. I mean, you're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. You got to fight tough and nobody let up.
So anyway, the Lions will be giving the ball over to R.E. Lee to start the second half, kicking it away. And, Coach, you know, we talked earlier, the Lions have been working several different looks this week. Split backfield with Dunson and Crowder, a few things with a tight end, things like that. Now, what's your motivation to try something like that?
Well,
when you're up, I mean, you're up by 6-7, and nobody's really had control.
Well, what you want to do is you want to do something that's not too different. Now, something Central did, which they have not done in the few games I've seen them here, is that they roll that fullback out of the backfield. Spread the quarterback to the left, roll the fullback out and around out of the backfield, and that's the same thing as passing to a tight end. So, you know, that kind of pattern underneath, they might look for a little more of that pattern. They might look for a little something underneath, either to the fullback or to the tight end.
Deep to receive is Marshall as Holt kicks a squibber. That rolls down to about the 14. Some confusion on who's going to get the ball. It's 33 who ends up with it, coming around to about the 29-yard line. And he is brought down by Troy Rowe, I believe. No, that's number 82.
Looked like a
Wayne
circle
Mason.
of friends or something there. I don't know what that was. The three guys, they couldn't decide who wanted the football. They were all passing it from hand to hand.
Well, that kind of squib kick kind of confused him, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Weren't sure who had the assignment to pick it up in that area.
Now the referees are confused.
Well, they're working on Scott Boykin's equipment. They're always working on Scott Boykin's face mask because he seems to keep breaking it in opponents' chests.
Yeah, well, he does a good job of sticking his head in there.
R.E. Lee, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line from my right to left. Now we've got another official's timeout. And they seem to be looking at Boykin for some. Now they're looking at the deep back, Troy Rowe, trying to figure out his equipment problems. I guess they feel they're all set.
Working on a shoulder pass.
1st and 10 from the 29 for R.E. Lee. Near side of the field, it'll be Thornton and Woodard splitting out wide to the right side. Stanley, the quarterback, and he spins and hands it off to Perry, who gets nowhere. He picked up maybe a half yard.
That's that little counter by the quarterback that I had said earlier. You know, it's not a typical their play. You remember that East Hall ran that play and ran it well when they ran it to their fullback. The quarterback countered around and did that fullback dive to the counter side. I think maybe that's something that they've put in since they saw Central get pinched by it one time before.
2nd and 9 now. This time it is Thornton and Spraggins to the right side. And Stanley looked like it was an option, but he got nowhere as he's buried for a loss of about a yard by Kevin Williams and Scott Boykin. Also in on the play for the Lions. It's a new number. No, that's not a new number. That's Chris Dyer, number 15, and on the tackle.
I believe that Birchfield decided the same thing at halftime that I decided right before half. You know that number 24 is their best football player. There's 6 guys hit him that time. You didn't have to worry about one man taking the quarterback. He was hit by about 6 people.
3rd and 9 for R.E. Lee now from the 30-yard line. 10 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Stanley's going to throw, rolling to his right side. He's got Woodard open. Now he's got to keep it. Coming around the left side. Dyer gets him at about the 32. But he gets away, and it's Swint who tackles him at about the 34-yard line. So give him a gain of about 5, but it's going to be 4th and 5 from the 34-yard line of R.E. Lee.
They're really running a little unbalanced look there, Tom. That time they only had 2 people on this side of the line. That was a very unusual look. It was an unbalanced line, right.
So now it's going to be the Rebels kicking it away. Smith deep to receive at about the 33. Smith takes it right at the 30, comes around to the right side of the field. Got a lot of people on him. Connerly made a block to hold off one Rebel, but Smith wasn't able to break away from number 33 at about the 35-yard line. Number 33 for R.E. Lee is is Marcus Hollis, and he's one of their better defensive players.
Good coverage that time. It was an excellent punt, and they had good time to coverage. They had a good little, well, there wasn't no seam. They had good coverage on this side.
1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 34-yard line. Crowder up the middle. Now he's coming around to the right side across the 40, the 45, and by sheer strength alone, he drags the ball down to about the 49-yard line. Now they're going to spot it right at the 50. Marcus Hollis was riding his shoulders, but Crowder just kept going.
That's an excellent play right there. What Central did is they put 2 wideouts over here and then ran blast to this side, and the fullback went ahead and took what we would call the defensive end. Well, they call him defensive end too. He took him and Crowder stepped outside of him, made an excellent run. Robert E. Lee is trying to jam it inside, and Crowder stepped outside of him.
1st and 10 from the 49 for the Lions. Crowder up the middle, no hole. Stopped right at the 50 after a gain of about 1. They had Smith and Dunson out wide to the left side that time. Anthony Forner, 87. Thornton makes a stop.
That time trying to run power to the left, where you left guard double teams with your center and you on the nose, and the fullback leads in there and jams the linebacker, and your left tackle makes the block, then you get a nice little seam up there in the middle, but Robert E. Lee stuffed it up real well.
2nd and 9 for the Lions from the 50-yard line. Dunson to the right, Smith to the left. Holt drops straight back, drop play to Crowder, who gets across the 50, but the ball is fumbled and picked up by R.E. Lee. Marcus Hollis on the recovery. Now what are they going to call? No, they're going to say that Crowder was down. No. Yes. Had me going there. I couldn't tell. It looked like the ref was going to put up his arm and point the other way, but he didn't do it, so the Lions retain possession.
You never know.
And obviously the Robert E. Lee crowd does not agree, but if they called it a fumble, then the Central fans wouldn't have agreed. So the Lions now are looking at about a 3rd and 8. Ball's just across the 50-yard line. They've got Dunson to the right, Smith to the left, near side of the field. Holt dropping straight back, looking for Smith, way downfield, a lot of pressure, and sacked back at about the RE at the Central 39 for a big loss. 63, Scott Etheridge makes the stop.
What Robert E. Lee did that time, they slanted right, their linebackers blitzed left, and that takes, Central's stepping left to block anyway, so they step into that slant, and that was a linebacker came from around here and one from the far side that put the big pressure on him.
Crowder will be kicking it away. Rebels receiver standing at the 26-yard line. Crowder booms one out. Taken by Thornton at about the 31-yard line, but he lets go of the ball. He tried to fair catch it, and the Lions recover. Big break at the 29-yard line. Thornton called for fair catch. He was a little too far back, tried to dive forward for it. It came out of his hand, and it looked like, I think, Kevin Williams on the recovery.
What 21 did that time, Tom, it's an old standard coaching rule. When you're teaching a kid to catch the football in the air, you tell him that, son, if you have to lean forward to catch it, don't catch it. And you see what he did. He had to lean forward, and it came off his chest on the ground. Big break for Central right here.
1st and 10 for the Lions from the 30-yard line. 2 men split out wide to the right. Crowder trying to come to the right, runs into his own man, and is dropped for a loss of about a yard. Scott Etheridge, 63, making the stop for R.E. Lee. But that's a big break. That's better than your long bomb there, Coach, to pick it up off the fumble on the punt return.
And Central trying to give Robert E. Lee a little their own medicine right then. Central was really unbalanced. The whole formation was unbalanced this way because they had guard, tackle, tight end, and then they had 2 wideouts out here. So they had an unbalanced line, though it wasn't tight.
Lions 2nd and 12 from the 31. And it is Dunson on the flanker reverse coming around the left side. And he gets up to the line of scrimmage, but he just didn't have room to operate, and it didn't work like it did the last time.
Their linebacker did a real good job. The time before, their cornerback, who is the last man, the cutoff man, we call him on that, did a good job, stayed home. But Walter made a nice run, and the cornerback had to tackle him down the field. It's 20-yard gain. That time, their linebacker, for some reason, whether he picked up a key or whether he did his job 100% instead of 85%, their linebacker was there, but to cut him off very short. Excellent play by them.
Far side of the field, it is 3rd and 12 from the 32 for the Lions. Holt throwing it out to Dunson on the right side. Dunson makes the reception at the 10 for the first down. On the coverage was Smith, but he is beat by Dunson. And Dunson makes a great catch over the shoulder on a little balloon thrown by Holt. And now the Lions are once again in striking position with a first and goal to go from about the 9-yard line.
Yeah, again, I think we've seen that play before. I think it's called Hail Mary right. Quarterback throws the ball straight up in the air. It's going to come straight down, and he feels like his man is going to out-jump the defensive back. A lot of athletic ability involved in that play, and number 10 got beat again. That's 3 times tonight, Tom.
Holt takes a snap. Crowder tries it up the middle, and he really gets nowhere. They had 2 men split out wide to the left side, but Crowder got jammed up in the hole. 5 minutes left to go in this very fast third quarter. Now the Lions are looking at a second and goal to go from about the 9-yard line.
You're right, Tom. Time's moving. And of course, if Central can put it in here, then we got a big question. Do you go for 1 or go for 2? You know, if you go for 2 and get them both, then you say they got to score twice and go for 2 sometime to beat you. But, of course, they got to score first.
So now they put 2 men out to the left side with Smith on the outside, Dunson on the inside. Holt hands it off to Crowder, who once again tries to jam it up the middle. And this time he only gets maybe a yard or 2 as he falls short of the 6-yard line.
Real tough play in there on both Central and Robert E. Lee. Everybody's fighting tough in the middle of that line.
Anthony Lockhart makes a stop for R.E. Lee, and he really only made it up to about the 7. 3rd and goal to go from the 7. 4 minutes left to go in this quarter. Time just flying by. And now we're going to have a timeout called by the Central Lions, and we'll take a timeout. It's 13-7, 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Play two. 60-second timeout, I guess. Yeah, they got away with it first time.
Yeah, first time their linebacker didn't do that.
He must have picked up their arm signals in reverse.
Well, or just he might have read the guy's mind. I've had a guy. Well,
you know what it is when they put the only time they put Dunson over there, they either run the reverse or run the fake.
Hey, I swear to God, I've had a damn guy read my mind though, because I send it all my plays with a kid. I rotate receivers through, play about 4 receivers, and they run the plays on that.
Oh no, not so quick. Cut this commercial short if you have to. 1330 WPPI. Holt's going to try the pass to Smith on the timing pattern. He beats his man completely in the corner, and the Lions go up by 19-7. It was a timing pattern to the left side, and Smith made the turn and completely fooled the defender, who didn't even realize that Smith had made the cut to the corner. And Smith did not look back until the ball was about 2 feet from his hands.
That's called a short out. That is a very nice short out pattern. You wonder what the defensive back was doing that time, because Smith sprinted right up to him and then took the outside away.
They're going for 2. And it is Holt jamming it in the middle, and it's pulled down by Walt Dunson in amongst about 3 receivers, and now the Lions are up by 21-7. And Coach, it just looked like Hurley Wells, who was the receiver on the play, watched Dunson come at him, and then when Smith come at him, and when Smith got right, he just ignored him.
I don't know whether he was watching Smith or whether he was watching the quarterback. He should have been watching Smith. I mean, you know, you get down that close, you've got to play man-to-man pass defense. There's no other way to stay alive. Whether he was watching him or not, though, Smith put a great outside cut on him, and son, he was dead. We got a name for that, but I can't say it on the radio. But once he makes that outside cut, the cornerback is dead.
So the Lions make it look easy on that score, 21-7 with 4 minutes left to go. And it has been the passing game, which has been in the difference in this one. Both teams have gotten 1 on the ground, the Lions 2 in the air. Now they're ready to kick off. And Mark Holt has been booming him into the end zone. And this time it's going to be taken at about the 7-yard line. He's across the 10, the 15. It's Lockhart across the 20 and smashed down at the 21, and that's the only word for it. He was leveled as he tried to make the turn upfield on the far sideline. But the Lions have put it on the board with about 4 minutes left to go, and now R.E. Lee's got a long way to go. with a 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. And the Lions defense has been playing tough. It's been a couple of key turnovers, and the air game has kept the Lions in it and on top. Daniel out to Thornton at about the 30-yard line on a little crossing pattern, but they do not connect. The ball thrown a little low and a little in front of Thornton. Coverage by Vince Smith and Walt Dunson.
Yeah, 21, the receiver, really should have, I thought, made a better play on that ball. He was out there. It was maybe a little low, but, you know, he's got to go get the football right there. It's interesting to see that they run on 1st down. I was just thinking they got a long way to go if they're going to run the veer and, you know, try to get back in this football game with Central or try to beat them.
2nd and 10 from their own 22. Daniel pitching it out to Maher Perry, coming around the right side across the 30 and up to about the 39-yard line. Excuse me, that's Marshall on the carry. And finally, Kevin Williams is able to bring him down, but a little option to Marshall, who brings it around for good yardage, a 1st down, and they'll be setting up shop at about the 38-yard line.
Run that veer option to their weak side, which that's been the best play for them all night. They fake the dive. Now, they'll have to run the dive some, though, in a minute, or Central will spread all the way out, you know, and go ahead and stop their option.
They're on the near side of the field from my right to left. Daniel, the quarterback, he's going to try throwing it to Thornton, the same play that missed earlier, except this time coming from the right side, and this time the ball thrown into the ground.
Yeah, that was a pitiful pass right there. There's no no other way to describe it. He spotted that wide open blade of grass out there and tried to hit it that time.
He had no zip on the ball whatsoever. Thornton's been open on the play both times. One time Thornton probably should have made the catch. The other time the ball just thrown into the dirt. Now it is Marshall and Wells in the backfield. And Daniel on the option to Wells, coming around the right side, pursued by Vic Brown. Dropped by Walt Dunson for a loss of about a yard. Now they're going to have 3rd and about 12.
What he did right there, Tom, that's called a speed option. See, you can run a speed option out of any option type attack, but the quarterback took the ball, moved his feet for 2 steps, and there was no fake. The fullback went ahead, but there was no fake. Quarterback took the ball, moved his feet for 2 steps, and took off out there, and it's a speed option being just between the quarterback and tailback.
3rd and 11 from the 42-yard line. 2 receivers on the left for R.E. Lee. Daniel's going to throw, looking for Thornton down the left sideline. A lot of pressure from Kevin Williams, and now he lets go a long ball to Woodard, and Woodard catches it, but he's out of bounds. Down at about the 20-yard line, going up for the ball for the Lions was Troy Rowe. But Woodard got it, but he couldn't keep his feet in.
That was a real nice catch, Tom. He just couldn't keep his feet in bounds. I'm surprised that the quarterback was able to throw that good a ball, really being chased this way, because Central had good pressure on him. He was chased all the way to the sidelines here, so he had a pretty strong arm that time.
Well, Coach, I think he wanted Woodard shorted about, Thornton shorted about the 50. And then when he got in a little trouble, Woodard was able to break free and get past Troy Rowe. Here's the punt. Vince Smith will be receiving at about the 30-yard line. And Smith now is hit immediately after a gain of about 1. It's 21-7 with 2 minutes left to go in the quarter. We'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Man, don't throw in these long spots. Don't throw in these long spots. If you're going to throw a substitute spot in, make sure they're short. The Lions are already coming to the ball. Get ready to cut this one short if they bust a big play. They didn't. .1330 WPPI Carrollton. 1:32 left to go in this third quarter. The Lions try a jam up the middle. Crowder stopped immediately. And now they've got a 2nd and about 9 from the 31-yard line. Dunson and Smith split out wide to the left side. Holt takes a look. He's got the snap. Pitch to Crowder. Crowder across the 30 up to about the 33. He might have gained a half yard. It looked like he had a hole for a second, but closed immediately by Marcus Hollis, number 33.
Yeah, I wonder if Crowder was, I think he was just running a sweep and cut back on his own. He does a good job of that. It just looked like he's running a little toss sweep. Almost looked like it was a cutback play, but I don't really think it was.
So anyway, the Lions now will have a 3rd and about 8. Holt coming out of quarterback. And Dunson going in. Harvey Bonner now out to the right side on the far side of the field on his third and about 8. And Dunson's going to throw. Now he's going to have to run with a lot of pressure on him. Gets it back upfield, across the 40, across the 45, and there's great individual running. And I'll tell you exactly what they were going to do. Every time Dunson comes in, the Lions usually go to the option. And I'm pretty sure they were hoping Ari Lee would key on the option. Instead, they wanted Dunson to drop back and try it over to the left side to Bonner, who is usually not a receiver. Usually doesn't catch that many balls. And they put a lot of pressure on Dunson, and great individual effort got a first down for the Lions.
That's it, but they wanted it to be, I mean, it was a passing play. But Robert E. Lee did such a great job of putting pressure on that it couldn't be a passing play. And then Dunson did a great job of running the football for about 15 yards there.
First and 10.
About 5 times, I bet.
First and 10 from the 48 with Holt in at quarterback. Crowder tries to go up the middle, stopped immediately. 5 seconds left to go in this quarter. 4, 3. They're going to let time run out, and we're going to take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
That was all walkthrough right there.
Yeah. That's what Daly meant when he told me the other day. He said, yeah, you'll see Dunson in on the option. Sort of. He smiled and laughed, but he wouldn't tell me what he meant. Now I know what he meant. They must have counted on them keying the option.
Yeah, well, you know that.
13:30 WPPI. The Lions will have the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They're up by 21-7. And they'll have a second and about, well, I'm not sure what it's going to be. I guess about 2nd and 6 from the flag, but there's some problem with the clock. It's stuck on 1 second. They're having a problem clearing it, I guess.
It's like the referees are having an intellectual discussion with Coach Birchfield down here on the sidelines, some of his folks.
They must be just having some problem resetting the clock with 1 second left to go. Everybody's looking at the clock, and the clock operator very embarrassed at this point in time and praying that it's some kind of mechanical difficulty. So anyway, Coach, the Lions benefit tonight really on a lot of individual efforts. They've had some good drives, but it's been individual efforts that have kept them going. Vince Smith over on the left side, Dunson here on that last run for the first down, and some good pass protection, some good coverage.
Well, I'd say Smith was the big play man in the first quarter, and then we got Crowder in the second quarter. Of course, on that one play where Crowder made that great run, he also got a great block.
Phillips and
number 30. Well, and also Gamble.
Maurice Gamble.
Yeah, he led it through there, and those 3 guys gave him a great block. So that one big play really, put Central down close. And then, of course, on the touchdown pass, that was fantastic coverage out there. The guy stands there and lets the guy run right to him and then cut outside and doesn't even look at him. That was a great effort on the guy that caught the ball. Then down here, do you ever, this play that went back and forth 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, Coach.
We really had about 5 great athletic plays, by kids on both teams. Unfortunately, it, didn't work out. It was Central had a holding penalty or something like that. But there have been some great athletic plays out there by kids on both teams tonight. This kind of football game to watch.
Now they've reset the clock at 0-0, and the score is 0-0 as they went off and turned it on and off at the base, and they'll probably just run they're going to go ahead and try to put the score up and run it that way. They must have had just some problem clearing it with the remote from up here. Well, now they've started it ticking, and I'm not sure what the... Back up to 12 minutes, 21. We know the Lions have that. 7, Ari Lee. They've got it right now.
That must be a clock operator's version of testing 1, 2, 3.
The famous group testing. Okay, looks like we're set to go now. So they spot things up, they bring it back down. It's going to be 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Ball will be resting on their own 49-yard line. Now they're going from my right to left. The ball's on the far side of the field. Chuck Connerly, number 75, gets the signal. Brian Hill into the game now at receiver, along with Bonner out to the left side. Mark Holt still in at quarterback. Holt takes the snap, hands it off to Crowder, who is arm tackled as he crosses the 50. Tackle made by 63 Etheridge for Ari Lee.
Ari Lee's playing tough, you know, except for that one drive which Crowder sparked and the central line blocked very well on. Ari Lee has been playing tough football in the middle of that line.
Okay, Coach, now they're going to change quarterbacks again. They're going to bring in Dunson on 3rd and about 8. I wonder if they'll try the pass play again or go to the option.
I don't know. You and I and the Robert E. Lee coaches all thought they were going to run the option before. But let's see what they pull out.
We'll see if Ari Lee looks for the pass. And it's Dunson on a keeper around the left side, shaking off one tackler across the 45, the 40, first down and more. Gets on the inside of the field, across the 20. He's going all the way, across the 5, in for a score.
That's an excellent run right there.
What a heck of a run by Walt Dunson. Shaking tacklers, cutting the ball inside on the field, no flags. The Lions go up by 27-7, excuse me.
I believe he ran about 90 yards. It's about a 48-yard run or so, but he had to sprint all the way to this side of the field, down the field, and then sprint back toward the other side. I think he probably got about 80 or 90 yards in there, Tom, overall.
Well, Coach, it was just a perfect tuck and hide and around the left side. He had the ball straight down on his leg. Ari Lee, everybody took it to the right side, and he came around the left and evaded all the coverage. Martin Holt for the PAT, which is up and which is good. The Lions up by 28-7. 11 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter of the state championship game. We'll be back after a 30-second timeout on the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI.
Strong safety was really on a blitz. Number 17 was on a blitz, and he let Dunson get outside of him. Strong safety had blitzed like he's supposed to, like this. Dunson stays inside of him. Then people have time to come back over here. But remember, they were talking about slant, and they must have all slanted that way, the strong safety blitz. And he blitzed like this and let Dunson get outside of him, which is Dunson.
Is that the guy Dunson chased away?
Number 17. He was a strong safety as he blitzed in here.
Did I get it started?
You did a good job.
I was doing this. Back at Roy Richards Memorial Stadium, Walt Dunson running about 90 yards, picking up about 50 straight away. But he goes in for the score, 28-7 with 11 minutes left to go. The Lions taking command of this game. Here's the kick. And this time Holt kicks a stubber down to Gibbs across the 20, the 25. And the Lions will have, the Rebels will have a 1st and 10 from about the 30-yard line.
Okay, now if this were a typical multi-offense team, Robert E. Lee, you would say that, you know, they got a chance, they got to work hard, you know, they got a chance to get back in the football game. But being a Veer team, I got to tell you, there ain't no way they're going to score 3 touchdowns in the Veer in 11 minutes. Now, if they may score them, but they're going to have to do something than what they want to do.
And Stanley, the quarterback, flags thrown immediately. They had Thornton out to the left, Woodard to the right, and Marshall and Perry in the backfield. But flags thrown before they got anywhere. Let's see what the preliminary indication is. And a little motion. So at a crucial time, they lose 5. And they're going to have 1st and 15 from their own 25-yard line. Here they come again. This time split out wide to the right side is going to be number 15. That's Davis. Thornton to the left side. And they're going to try a little pass play to Thornton, but he's sacked. He's sacked. It was 52 Chambers, stunning on the play. Got right inside the splits. And he jumped all over him and pulled him down, so they lose a few more yards. In fact, call it about 3 more yards. It'll be 2nd and 18.
Yeah, you know, they're forced to either pass or there's no way that they're going to be able to move the football. So Central doing the right thing and putting pressure on them. Don't give them something.
2nd and 18 now. Woodard to the right side, Thornton to the left. Stanley, the quarterback, drops straight back. Looking on the right side for Woodard. Down at about the 40-yard line. Ball overthrown. Woodard couldn't catch up to it. On the coverage, Troy Rowe coming over to assist Jeff Robinson. Now they have got 3rd and 18. And this is a position, as you say, Coach, unless you throw the ball or you've got a multifaceted offense, you're really stuck is what you're going to do. They know they're going to throw the ball, and if they're not used to throwing it a lot, the Lions have the advantage.
That's it, buddy. Central did very good pass coverage that time, too, even though these guys are trying to throw it 40, 50 yards down the field. What these guys really need to do right now is throw it for 20 yards and get a 1st down.
Stanley's going to throw again. This time it's a little screen play set up to Wells at the 25. He's across the 30. He's not going to get the first down. No, he might as he breaks away across the 50, down the sideline to the 40, and finally brought down as he fumbles the ball almost, but recovers at the 25. They threw that little screen play. I didn't think he was going to make it, but he gets all the way down to the 25-yard line, stopped down there by Vic Brown, Scott Boykin, and Jeff Robinson.
Can you believe that? The second worst play in football, and they gained 40, 50 yards on it. That just shows that anything can happen once, Tom.
It didn't look like he was going to get much of anywhere there for a second, Coach. I thought he was going to be down before he got to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, the linebacker had, a pretty good placement. The linebacker was there, but the boy just made a great play.
First and 10 from the 25. Option over to Perry, who drops the ball, and they lose about 3 yards. Excuse me, that's Marshall who was in on the carry, and he drops the ball, so they lose about 3 yards. He recovered, and they're back down to the 29-yard line. Call it a loss of 4. They're going to have 2nd and 14 from the Central 29.
You never know whether that's a bad pitch or whether bad hands, but for whatever reason, they didn't complete their pitch out.
Stanley takes a look, and this time he's going to throw a little setup. Intercepted by the Lions! Intercepted by the Lions by Troy Rowe at about the 30. Ball got tipped, fell into his hands, and the Lions really can put the pressure on now. There's only 8:52 left to go, and they're up by 28-7, and they'll have a 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line.
Quarterback got hit just as he threw it. Excellent defensive rush right there. From Central's right defensive side, I didn't catch the number, but excellent defensive rush.
So the Lions will take possession. 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line, near side of the field. Once again, it looks like a double tight end. Smith out to the left side. Holt handing it off to Crowder around the right side, across the 40, and almost up to the 44-yard line. He might have made it to the 45, but a pickup of about 8 yards over to the right side.
Every time that Central runs the football 2 or 3 times and makes a first down, that's getting closer to this game being, over. I mean, it's essentially over right now, so if they can't do anything but run that veer, and we've seen that they can't do much more than that.
R.E. Lee fans disappointed. They're leaving. Jody McCullough making his first appearance in the game over on the right side at split end. And in at quarterback, Holt, and he hands it off to Crowder. Up the middle, he might have gotten a first down. Let's see if he fell forward. Yes, he did. So the Lions eating up more clock down to 7:52. Clock stopped at 7:52. But he picks up the first down, just barely. And now Brian Hill coming in for Vince Smith, as we're going to probably see a lot more faces in the game, as of course the coaches want to see as many people get action in the state championship game. They do have control with 28-7 and 7:40 left to go in the 4th quarter. Brian Hill to the left side. I believe Jody McCullough is still in over to the right side. And the handoff is to Crowder, who gets buried at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, what you're saying right now, if you're ahead, though, by this much, you're saying roll clock, because that clock's your friend.
87, Anthony Thornton on the stop. I believe Maurice Campbell is still in at fullback. Yes, he is. We'll try to see if there's more substitutions here and keep up with them.
What you're saying, if you're on that other sideline, though, is you're hoping for a miracle. There's nothing short of that's going to get them back in the football game.
Time ticking away, down to 7 minutes. Hill to the left side, McCullough to the right side. And Holt hands off to Crowder, coming around the right side, almost dropped for a loss, but he burrows his way ahead for a gain of maybe 4 or 5 as he gets across the 50 into Rebel territory. But he didn't get very far. Now they're making lineman substitutions. That's always tough to keep up with. We'll try to get them all in for you, though. Coming into the game, Scott Long. Let's see, Brian Hill, we already mentioned, number 42. Let's see who else they brought in for substitutions. I believe Billy Harper, 79, came in. I'm not positive. Now Hill and McCullough are both coming to the left side as it's 3rd and about 5 from the 47-yard line. Holt hands it off to Crowder. Crowder is stopped at the line of scrimmage, then burrows ahead up to about the 45, but they're going to be short of a first by about 2 yards.
Yeah, probably going to punt it away now. Just, go ahead and put the other guys far away. Still, over 6 minutes left, but still, over 6 minutes left, and if they're not a good passing team.
That's an eternity.
That's a long way to go, buddy. That's a long way to go.
So it's 4th and about 3 for the Lions from the 45.
If Central just kicks them down there and then makes them earn first downs, then it's over.
So we'll go ahead and take a look at what Ari Lee will try to do. Here's Thornton. Flag thrown. I imagine a delay of game on the Lions. Thornton, of course, on a fumble on a punt return when he dived forward for the ball when he shouldn't have. The Lions recovered, and that led to a big break for the Lions. So now they're going to be kicking away. Walt Crowder will be at about the 35, his own 36-yard line. Thornton standing back at his own 21. Imagine Crowder will try to give him an opportunity to eat up some clock on a short return. People all over the line. I think that one's going to be back against Ari Lee.
Yeah, they jumped.
So we have penalties, taking the ball 5 yards one way. Now it's 5 yards the other way. If the Lions can get him to do that again, it'll be another first down. So it'll be 4th and about 3.
Definitely got a block set up on this side. Look at him.
They're bringing in an extra man on the rush. No good as Crowder gets a good one away. It bounces at about the 5 and goes into the end zone. It took a high hop. 5:55 left to go. Lions up by 28-7. We'll take a short break, 30 seconds. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. It's almost anticlimactic.
Yeah. Over now.
But an enjoyable way to win. Out of that kind of control. Man, I feel stupid. I only picked him by 10. Of course, Constitution only picked him by 1.
It was a football game until that big break you were talking about.
Ari Lee with the ball. Stanley throwing down to the left side. Nowhere near Thornton, his intended receiver. Coverage over there by Dyer, Johnson, and Smith. So they're going to have a 2nd and 10 from the 20 on the touchback after the punt.
Central's playing, got 5 people playing back now, too. So they're only sending 6 on a rush. They'll give them short passes. I mean, so they pass short, pass over the middle, pass outside, move the ball up the field a little bit. They'll give them that right now.
James Moorhead in the game on the defensive line for the Lions at right defensive guard. And the Lions playing a lot of folks deep in that secondary. Stanley, number 24, 2nd and 10 from the 20. And he's going to throw again, looking for Thornton on the left side as he hooks in right across the line of scrimmage, but he's sacked. He is sacked by Steve Whitlock, picks up a big sack back at the 10-yard line. Also in on the stop for the Lions, number 66, that's Mike McKinnon. So now they are way back with a 3rd, and it looks like close to 20 yards back at about the 12-yard line. Call it
real good pressure. Real good pressure that time. And for some reason, Robert Lee, they sent 1 receiver long and 1 short, and that's the only 2 guys they had in the pattern. Didn't have anybody, no 3rd receiver out.
So now Woodard's in the game out to the right side. Thornton over to the left. 5 minutes left to go. Daniel going to throw again. He wants Woodard on the right side. Woodard open, but in and out of his hands at about the 25. I think he should have gotten that one, Coach. It looked like they went right through his hands.
Yeah, it did. Like we say, hit him in a bad place. The hands.
Make it a little tougher, and they might have had something, but they're going to have to give the ball back up to the Lions. And I think this is basically going to seal the fate if it wasn't sealed several minutes ago.
Yeah, this is really the only thing they can do not to give Central just a free touchdown, so that they just about have to kick it to them unless they're going to try some kind of fake and, maybe pull off a fake punt play.
4th and 18. The man fumbles the ball in the end zone, still gets it away. Smith's going to take it. Oh, he's going to let it bounce as it takes a Central hop back to about the 42-yard line. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Central Lions up by a score of 28-7. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. 54-61. Who are these people? 29. Cheney. 58 and 82. Play another one after this. Taking a timeout, play another one. Oh, I'd put money on it now. Not a lot though, because I'm a cautious guy. Oh man, they got all kinds of folks in here. Mike Cheney split out to the left side, line of substitutions as Holt hands off to the fullback. I'm not sure what fullback is in there right now. It probably is 38 Eric Barton. That's exactly who it is, and Barton picks up about 4. Also in the game for the Lions, number 28, Melvin Brown. Number 29, Mike Cheney. Number 64 is in. That is Mike Perch. Number 79, Billy Harper. 66 in for the Lions, Mike McKinnon. And Holt hands it off to Brown, Melvin Brown, who was stopped right at the line of scrimmage, stood up. Really no gain. So they're going to have a third.
Pretty good drive off the line on the first play by this number 2 line of Central. And that time right there, of course, Robert Lee fired inside all of them and stuffed it up real well. Central just trying to run that clock right now.
Number 81, Scott Long in the game. He'll be in at tight end. Like we say, a lot of substitutions for the Lions. Trying to get a lot of folks playing time. Chad Albright in at center, number 54. And it's a little flare pass, hold out to Brian Hill at the 35. He spins and tries to get away. I believe that's Brian Hill's first reception of the year, and a great place to have it in the state championship game as he's close to a first down. Going to be a little short, I believe. It's going to be 4th and very short.
Well, you know, at this time of the game, you can say, go for it.
Well, they want to keep possession of the ball and eat up the clock. They're going to bring the chains across just to see.
And it doesn't matter if you're a little short. I mean, so the other guy gets the ball, you know, on his 30. I mean, that's not bad.
There's 3 minutes left to go in this quarter.
3 minutes left to go in the game.
Well, the game, the quarter. 3 minutes left to go in the season for both these teams. And they're going to be about a yard short, but they'll probably go for it. And they did the old New York Giants trick. They dumped water on Coach Birchfield's head. But it wasn't a Gatorade bucket, but I guess you got to start new traditions.
Yeah, I think that's an Exceed bucket right there rather than a Gatorade bucket.
4th and 1 for the Lions. They hand it off to Eric Barton, who gets the first down up to the 30-yard line. Barton's still fighting. I tell you what, a good sign for the future with Eric Barton is every time he's come into the game in the late stages, one game he picked up 30 yards and about 4 rushes. Another game he picked up nearly 60 yards on 8 rushes. Right here, he's a fighter. He's a little bulldog when he gets his hands on the ball.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. Of course, I only saw him for the first time 3 weeks ago, but that was that first game that he came in and looked real good. Yeah, he looked tough.
1st and 10 for the Lions now. From the 30-yard line down to 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes away from the state championship. Holt hands it off to Barton again. This time he gets buried in the middle of the line. And really didn't go anywhere. Now they dump water on Coach Tollison.
Well, he stuck his head in there, Tom. He did some good running. You know, R.E. Lee's not giving up. You know, they're fighting tough, even though they know there's no chance for them to win the football game. There's a lot of good football still being played down there.
The Lions bring in number 77, Chris Tyson. Number 33, that is Bryant Brewer. Arnie Carell, number 21, split out wide to the right side. All kinds of new linemen. And there's a mix-up on the snap. And I believe the new center, Brian Entrican, and Holt missed up. And they turned the ball over, I believe, to Ari Lee, that's yes they do. Ari Lee will have a 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. But with 1:47 left to go, it shouldn't make too much difference. More Lions coming into the game. Let's see if we can get some more of these names for you.
Not much time.
Let's see if we can get some of these names for you here. Turn around, fellas. Wayne Mason in, Jeff Robinson in, Ramon Swin in the secondary. All playing deep. Stanley throwing wide to the left side. Thornton does not pick the ball up. That's Woodard, excuse me. He lets it drop out of his hands. Now they'll have 2nd and 10 from the 30. 1:23 left to go. The incomplete pass stops the clock.
Yeah, I think that would have been on the first bounce anyway. I think it, took a little bounce before it got to him.
Also in for the, I already got Glenn Scoggins, I guess, number 32. Christmas music by the Lions, and a Merry Christmas for the Lions, headed to their 2nd championship. Fumble on the play, fumble on the exchange between the center and the quarterback to Stanley, and that keeps the clock rolling down to 1:14. It's going to be 3rd and about 11. Ball back down on the 29-yard line. Let's see what other lines have come into the game. Mark Honeycutt, number 36 in. Also number 72 into the game, Tommy Gibson on left defensive end. Stanley looking for Woodard, who's got the 1st down across the 40, and he gets up to about the 44-yard line. 50 seconds left to go. Fans crowding the side of the field. Coming into the game for the Lions on defense will be number 31. That's Judd Hall. As they'll be playing a lot of folks in the secondary. A lot of folks slipping through the gate down there.
Yeah, that's a happy crowd right here, Tom.
Hopefully they won't get onto the field and disturb play. Stanley throwing over to Thornton. In and out of his hands at about the 48-yard line of the Lions.
Yeah, 21 hadn't had a good night. I think caught one good one earlier, but he has not been very effective.
Well, Coach, the punt return fumble, plus a couple of times when we saw him in those crossing patterns, especially the first time when he could have made a better effort to get the ball, and he didn't really go all out to get it. And that kind of thing is the kind of thing that stunts the drive and takes the heart out of your team.
That's it, buddy. The opposite of a big play.
2nd and 10 from the 45. They throw it to Woodard, in and out of his hands at about the 48-yard line of the Lions. In on the coverage was number 31, Judd Hall, who was going to make sure if Woodward caught the ball, he was going to remember he caught the ball for days to come.
That's a nice leg by 31. What you teach your defensive back, go through that man after he either catches it or puts his hands up in the air to catch it.
So now it's 3rd and 10 from the 45. 28 seconds left to go in this game. The Lions, AA champs 2 years in a row. Next year going to AAA. Stanley, the quarterback. He's rolling out, throwing it to the right side, and thrown short of Thornton by just a couple of yards. Now it's going to be 4th and 10. And getting out of here might not be as tough because a lot of the Ari Lee fans have left already. They started leaving actually with about 7 minutes left to go in this quarter.
I think some of them's out of the city limits by now, Tom.
When the Lions were able to pick up that 4th touchdown, it really sealed the fate because the Rebels not operating a come-from-behind type offense. Stanley is throwing again, this time to Woodard, who's going to get a 1st down or very close to it as he goes across the Lions 45 before he's forced out of bounds over there by number 66, Mike McKinnon. Also in on the play for the Lions, number 58, Russell Gable. 17 seconds left to go. That's how long they've got to cut the lead.
Well, they're trying to put one in for pride, trying to keep it on that sideline, get them another chance, put one in the end zone. They're fighting. They're not, they haven't quit.
1st and 10 from the 45. Stanley throwing the long ball. Woodard open, but over his hands, down at about the 15, and really by about a foot. Woodard had a chance for it, but he just couldn't quite catch up to it as it came right straight over the top of his head. So now 11 seconds left to go. 2nd and 10 from the Lions 45.
A lot of exercise for those young people in the defensive secondary, too. They're getting their wind sprints in tonight just in case they hadn't had their exercise for today.
A lot of folks getting to play tonight for the Lions after they took control of this one in the 4th quarter. Stanley going to throw again, and he slips, and he gets the ball in and out of the hands of 39 Wells. They're just going to let the clock, well, they can't let the clock run off. We're down to 5 seconds. No flags. 3rd and 10 from the 45. Referees trying to get all the people off the field now. They're edging ever closer to rushing out, celebrating this big victory, this big second championship in AA. This should be the last play of the game. Stanley dropping straight back, looking straight down the middle of the field. He's got a man open, Wells, and in and out of his hands. That's the end of the game. The Central Lions, state champs for the second year in a row, 86 and 87, with a 28-7 win over the Robert E. Lee Rebels. You can hear them going nuts.
Good football game.
And Coach, really a football game. 28-7 sounds a little lopsided. A game that really wasn't decided with until about 7-8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter, when the Lions establishing that kind of lead, taking away R.E. Lee's chances, because as you pointed out, they're not a come-from-behind team by nature of their offense.
Yeah, I feel like the turning point in the game was, not to call the boy's name too many times, but when number 21 laid the ball down on the ground and gave Central the football here, it was 13-7 then, right? And it was anybody's football game. Central playing well, R.E. Lee's playing well. But when Central gets the ball here and it gets the opportunity, and then they make the good quick drive and score, that's when I think, then they go for 2 and make it 21-7. Then I think after that it's a real long uphill battle for Robert E. Lee or anybody 2 touchdowns behind trying to run the veer. When Central gets the 3rd touchdown ahead, it's over then. If you're in the veer or a wishbone type offense, anything that that you just run the option is your basic stuff.
Okay, Coach, we're going to take about a 2-minute timeout. We'll be back and take a look at some of the highlights of the game and some stats. 28-7 the final score. Lions AA champs, second year in a row. You're listening to the voice of the Central Lions, 1330 WPPI. Well, we got him through another year.
Hey, what the hell? We gotta do this next year,
Yeah, they didn't really. They never really lost heart or anything. I think you can just see it a couple of plays where Kent's a little discouraged.
Robert Lee, man.
Yeah.
They followed. They fought up the team. They had some down non-performance back up guys like that 21